YouTube. Jeff, I'm so excited.
This is huge.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I can't even fake. Like I was like, I'm going to come on. I'm going to be like, well, we got this piece of garbage. I can't even pretend. Like, holy crud. Hey, you want to guess what this one's going to get ranked? Right? Like,
I mean, no, here's the question. All right. This is clearly going to get ranked number one at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Episode.
Yeah.
Like, we'll spoil that. Will this stay as number one through the whole season?
Oh, man. That's the question.
There's a lot of episode left, or a lot of season left. And this one really could be number one through. I don't have no idea what the rest of the season's about, but this could wind up being like.
It's going to take a lot to knock this off.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, but because I think I like this episode so much for the same reason I liked Return of the Jedi best for Star Wars. Okay. And the same reason I liked Return of the King best for Lord of the Rings. And the same reason why I liked Back to the Future 3 best out of the Back to the Future movies. Everything prior to it was leading up to that point. And it capstoned the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why Revenge of the Sith was so good. I will not talk about The Rise of Skywalker. That was awful. Sorry, movie critics out there. It was awful. And you know why? Because the previous two movies didn't lead to it.
At all. Yeah.
At all.
Neither did any of the other six before it, before those other two. Like,
yeah.
When I have a fun story about
down
when I saw
one
that
path
movie,
and then juke me over here and do something different. Anyway, what you guys out there, you're about to witness is Jeff and I recording a podcast on the season 4, episode 6. I think I kept saying episode 5 during my Brent Watches video. This is episode 6, right?
It's 6. Yeah. Cause we're going to knock something out of the top 5 in our ranking today.
Oh yeah.
It's getting real. It's getting real.
Right. So we're going to do that. And, you guys are going to watch us do we're recording an audio podcast. This is the behind the scenes of how we put that whole thing together. We edit that one. We don't edit this one unless there's kids involved.
Yeah. That happened last week.
Yes. Yes. And I cannot promise it won't happen again this week, but I hope it doesn't. Anyway,
actually,
good editing job, Jeff.
Thank you. You're going to see our outtakes. You're going to see the mistakes, the rabbit trails, all the stuff that I'll cut out for the audio version.
We don't edit. You guys get it? This is, let's hear. What do we got? This. What did I say?
I love it because you're saying we don't edit literally when they're just going to watch this thing chop because we did just edit. Because we edit when the kids are around. So just know that. That's the only editing we do.
This is how the French fries are fried. This is how the taco is assembled. This is how the quesadilla is folded.
Dude, I just had a salad for dinner today. Keep this up, and I'm going to hit my Uber Eats app.
This is how the salad is tossed.
This is a different podcast.
13 family-friendly show, folks. For the record, we're talking about Into the Fire. Jeff, hit that sweet magical button. Let's go. I want to talk about this episode so badly.
You are valued, and you are needed.
You will be Emperor. I think you're about to go where everyone has gone before.
The year is 2023. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters watching Babylon 5 for the first time, searching out for those messages that all sci-fi shows should do. We just tend to say Star Trek. But we're searching for how they're being done in a uniquely Babylon 5 way. And oh boy, are we going to hit that today.
That we are. We're going to hit that in this podcast that is not a Star Trek podcast. And to keep us honest and not pull all those references in, we limit ourselves via the rule of 3. That means we each get up to and no more than 3 references to Star Trek per episode.
That's it. 3. Uno, dos, tres. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, Jeff.
We have a 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
It's from Apple Podcasts. I can't find a name 27. Says, great perspective. Started listening to this podcast as I am watching Babylon 5 for the first time myself. And I'm also a Star Trek fan. Really enjoying their takes on the series. They are so similar to my own perspective.
Awesome. I like when people out there share our perspective.
Totally good when they don't also, but it's kind of cool when they do. Well, we have another 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
Also from Apple Podcasts. We got some great Apple Podcast names today. This one's from Cam. Cam says, and so it begins. These gentlemen make me feel as if I'm sitting in the room with them during their conversation. It's informative, well thought out, and fun. I look forward to Mondays because of these two. Live long and... nope. Peace and long... I just have one more. Well, thank you, my good, dear friends, Mr. Allen and Mr. Akin.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like it. Good stuff. He's like, and so it begins, and I kind of gave like a little smirk. The folks at YouTube would be able to see that. By the way, if you're listening to the audio version of this, go to YouTube, check it out. Lots more fun happening way over there than what you guys get here. Although this is good too. But I did give a little smirk, and it's just because he said, so it begins. And I'm like, no, this is the one where it ended.
Right. Also, I feel like we get the and so it begins meme, I don't know, every 3rd or 4th episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, do you know what we do every 3rd or 4th episode?
What's that?
Well, we get to the end of the episode and we predict what the next episode's going to be like. But we don't just do that every 3rd or 4th episode. We actually do that every episode. It just, every 3, the cycle resets.
Every 3, we get one right.
There you go.
Ish.
That's, yes. Yes. So, hey, anyway, what we do, we get to the end of the episode and we make a prediction of what next week's episode is going to be based on title alone. This is the spot of the show where we look back to last week to see what we thought this week was going to be about. Jeff, do you remember what you said Into the Fire this week's episode was going to be about?
I do. And I think we both got pretty specific in what we were thinking, because clearly this was going to be the battle. Like this is moving and we knew it was going to happen. My specificity was that we're going to get a lot of Shadows versus Vorlon, pew, 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 fight, fight, fight. A lot of the league members were going to get killed and destroyed. It was going to be rough. And I believed that Londo would the episode would end with Londo being crowned emperor. So I was not that close on this one. What about you?
I basically just said it's Ivanova going out looking for the first ones, and Sheridan's inserting himself into the middle of the Vorlon Shadow War, which is exactly what happened. I did take it a step further and say that at some point Sheridan's going to be backed up against the wall, and here's going to come Ivanova and the first ones over the crest to rescue them. They didn't really come over the crest, and Ivanova was actually there way before the first ones were. But there was a spot where like, okay, let's call in the first ones, and then they came in and it happened. So, yeah, sort of, kind of, but still, Ivanova searching for the first ones, Sheridan out there with the war. That's where we were.
Now, if you're wondering who the first ones are, or why Ivanova was there the whole time, you should go back and listen to some of our past episodes. But if you are not quite sure, if you just haven't watched this one in a long time, you're not quite sure what we mean by this Shadow Vorlon thing that happened in this one, Brent, will you remind everyone what Into the Fire is all about?
Well, Jeff, I said in my prediction that this one would be Ivanova finding out about the first ones, and that Sheridan would be inserting himself into the Vorlon Shadow War. And that's exactly what happened. So, Jeff, what did you think of this episode, Into the Fire?
That really is the whole episode, isn't it?
Yes.
Like that was it.
Would you like?
There were a couple. There's a couple other things that happened in this one, though. I think.
Fine. Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm so demanding.
Right? Gosh, how have I done this for 75 episodes with you? Jeez. Well, Ivanova is out there searching for the first ones with Lorien. She's apparently been quite successful at it so far, and it seems that there's only one left. She's getting tired of waiting for this last first one because she really wants to get back to the fighting. Lorien is just marveling at how brave and stupid, human Sheridan's plan is. And before you know it, the final first one shows up and Ivanova's mission is complete. And now she can get back to the fighting. But the fighting hasn't quite started just yet. Sheridan and the fleet from the United Federation of Non-Aligned Planets are on their way, taking out a Vorlon listening post along the way. And it's about that time that Delenn gets the message from Ivanova saying that she's on her way, and Sheridan tells her to haul ass. And get there. Let me try that again. And Sheridan tells her to haul ass and get there just as soon as he engages the shadows, blowing up some asteroids right there in their midst. Well, while Ivanova and her people are hauling ass, let's check on while Ivanova and her people are hauling ass, let's check in on Prime Minister Londo. Well, he's busy getting right to work, and the first order of business is getting the shadows off Centauri Prime before the Vorlon attack. And a close second in priority is getting rid of all of Cartagia's people because he really doesn't want a knife in the back. About that time, the Minister of Intelligence comes to meet with Londo privately, and he reveals that it was not Lord Rifa who gave the order to kill Lady Adira, but rather it was Morden. Londo, wailing about being played like a puppet, goes all rage room, sparing only a cute little 5x7 picture of himself on the side table. And he calls for Morden to tell him and his associates to haul ass off Centauri Prime. But when they refuse, Londo takes matters into his own hands. First, he has his guards shoot and kill the invisible shadow guard that is flanking Morden. And then he blows up an island, the island that the shadow ships are on. Yep, the whole island. Blew it up. And then he drags Morden away, and he calls for Vir and sends Vir out into the garden to behold what is now my personal favorite moment of the entire series, where Vir finally gets what he wanted, to see Morden's head up on a pike as a warning to all who are going to go too far. And he would look up at the head and he would wave. Well, Londo sends the Vorlons a message letting them know that there's no more shadows or shadow influences on Centauri Prime, so they can just leave them alone now. But as the Vorlons literally blot out the sun, Vir points out that there is still one more thing on the planet that has been touched and influenced by the shadows. Londo himself. And just before Londo has Vir run him through, the Vorlon ship hightails it out of there. The Vorlon ship hauls ass out of there. Why? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Because Sheridan has called in the first ones, and the first ones are obliterating both the Vorlons and the shadows. And the Vorlons have called for all ships everywhere to come and assist. But that's when both Vorlon and shadows tap into Lita Alexander, who is on the bridge of the White Star, and she zaps Sheridan, and another one zaps Delenn, and sends them both off to a place where they can, talk. And Lorien does some sort of magic thing where he's trying to make everybody see what's happening. Well, off in the weird talky place, Sheridan is talking to what is apparently a Vorlon encased in ice. Delenn is talking to what is apparently the shadows, appearing as members of the DVD cover, except for Garibaldi, because he's been a bit whiny lately and nobody wanted him around the set this day. There's lots of talking back and forth and lots of intercuts between the two conversations, but here's the gist of it. Sheridan and Delenn are pointing out the same thing to both sides. You're wrong. And you've been fighting for so long, you don't even know why you're really fighting anymore. You don't want to help the younger species anymore. You just want to get the younger species to say that you were the ones who were right. This is about you, not us. So we, along with all of our friends, are going to refuse to participate any longer. We're not taking sides anymore. The Vorlons and Shadows don't like it. And in the real world, they start trying to destroy the White Star. But since the younger races are united in a federation of non-aligned planets, they are stepping in between the Vorlons and Shadows and the White Star to keep them safe. As we said, they're united, not taking sides in this war anymore. Well, then the Vorlons and Shadows become aware of Lorien's presence, and they envelop everyone in a really freezing cold death cloud thing. And Kosh, the original Kosh, and some random shadow guy both appear in astral form on the bridge of the White Star. Lorien says that we have stayed behind to help the younger races, but now the younger races are in control. It's their time now, not ours anymore. And he convinces the Vorlons and the Shadows and all of the gathered remaining first ones who have been in this battle. It's time for all of them to leave the galaxy and go beyond the rim. And the Vorlons or Shadows are like, well, okay, but will you go with us? Because we're scared. And just like that, Lorien himself will also go, thereby leaving the entire galaxy to the younger races. Well, now that that's over, Delenn says it's time for them to make their own magic and create their own legends, to build the future and stop being afraid of shadows. And Sheridan reflects on the intro from season 1. This really was the dawn of the third age of mankind. All right, now, Jeff, for real this time, what did you think of this episode, Into the Fire?
I call this a pantyhose episode.
What?
Yeah, pantyhose. Because they shoved 10 pounds of fat into a 5-pound bag. Like, this episode was loaded. I
do not know how they got this into 43 minutes.
It makes no sense. And I'm not saying this is not this is me commenting on how masterfully done this episode was, because when I watched it the second time, taking my notes, like, it starts out kind of slow, like with Lorien and Ivanova having some back and forth on the White Star, Sheridan and Delenn kind of like, it's kind of slow moving, and then when you get to the end, you're just like, holy crud, this is like 3 episodes in one. They got so much in. But Brent, this was it last week? I think it might have been last week or recently when I was talking about how often these hyper serialized shows in our modern times end and they're disappointing. Mm-hmm. Well, this one ended in the early half of the 4th season, and I am so satisfied. This is everything I could have wanted. I loved it. I still have some questions. I still have stuff, but you know what? There's like a season and 2/3 left. So I'm very hopeful many of my questions are going to be answered. But this was amazing. It was so good. So good. What about you?
Are we sure this was not the season finale?
Right? I mean,
are we sure
this wasn't the series finale?
Right. Jeff, I'm gonna simply say this. This is by far one of the best hours of television I have ever watched in my life.
Period. Full stop. Period.
I don't know that I could say it is the best because I'm not thinking of all the hours of television I've watched. This would be top 3, I would think, if not number 1. It was so good. As you pointed out, he packed so much into this episode. Like, I started to sit back thinking, when I texted you before I started writing the review, I was like, I've got to write this review.
How do I do this?
And you went, good luck. But oh my gosh, Jeff, there's so much to talk about here. There's so much. Everything in this episode worked because it paid off what we have been waiting for 3 seasons and 5 episodes for. What we've been told is coming, and it came, and it's over. I mean, as far as we know, the Vorlon Shadow storyline is done.
Yeah.
Now we do still have several episodes left, and there's more hanging out there. And we talked about this, I think, last week, Jeff. Like, there are some story threads that are still dangling that now get cleaned up. But I mean, for capping a series of episodes, this is phenomenal. I will tell you though, I really hope that starting next week, we kind of dial back from the hyper serialized portion.
Yeah.
And kind of like the whole show has always been serialized, right?
Right.
But I would say these first 6 episodes of this season specifically have been super, like, this could have been a 6-night mini series on TV.
Yes.
Jam these together, make them a large movie kind of a situation. Remember we did that with those 3 episodes back in season 3 where
right.
They wound up breaking away from Earth.
Yep, Messages from Earth, Point of No Return, and Severed Dreams.
Those 3 right there. We've seen Star Trek do this, particularly Deep Space Nine, when they did the final 10 episode arc of the whole season. There was a couple other places where they would do hyper serialized mini arcs. I'm kind of hoping we're back to a mini arc and that the rest of the episodes go back to the normal serialized format. I don't need to go episodic, but let's go back to that normal serialized format, because you kind of get a breath. Right. It feels like we've been out of breath for the last few weeks. And I kind of hope we go there. But I mean, my gosh, this episode was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And by the way, if those people who paid us to tank the reboot,
whoops,
I just quit.
Yeah. It's cool though. The check cleared, so it's fine. We can quit.
We don't have to give them that, right? Great.
Yeah, no, it was great. What I loved about it too, and what we'll dive into as we get into some of our notes and our conversation, is how well the seeds were planted earlier. Right, like just the things that came. In fact, if I were to say I had one complaint about this episode, it would be the flashback that they did to Vir, telling Morden that he wanted to see his head on a pike and he would wave at him like this. I almost wish that he just looked at him and waved. And then for those of us who've been watching, we're just like, he did the thing.
No, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you didn't know, then but also like that is a no basis complaint, because the flashback totally made sense. And also that was like 2 seasons ago. So,
and this is TV, and people wouldn't understand it unless they had that flashback to know exactly what was going on. This was a situation where this was not a clip show that had a clip in it.
Yeah. And it made sense. It was good.
Absolutely. I meant what I said when I said it in my recap. That moment you just talked about right there is my new favorite moment from the entire series.
Let me just read you verbatim my note. In capital, bolded, you can see this on our Patreon. We post our notes up there. The greatest scene in all of Babylon 5, Vir waving at Morden's severed head.
And
yes.
No words. Vir just walked out, looked up. Yes, there was the flashback that had words. He just looked up, he looked around, and then he waved. And it was perfect.
I was worried. So Londo set that up. He calls Vir in. So Londo's throwing his weight around. He's prime minister. He's cleaning house, getting rid of Cartagia's people. He's getting fired up, because he learned about the Rifa stuff, or the Morden stuff. And he brings Vir in and he's like, I got you a gift. And my immediate thought was, oh my God, that's what Cartagia said to Londo when he brought Jakar in. Is right. Londo slipping further and he's going to do something sick and twisted. And yeah, maybe it was a little sick and twisted. Also, greatest moment in Babylon 5.
So to that point, there were places where I really thought Londo was fully embracing what it is to be Centauri and the crazy grittiness by which they do things.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the note I had right before this is the greatest moment in Babylon 5 history says, I'm surprised Londo didn't execute him right away. And when he looks at him, he goes, I haven't even begun. Or something, whatever he said, whatever that quote was. I was like, dude, he's going to go like rip his eyeballs out. And
vivisection and the whole thing.
Right.
Wow.
Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is how the Centauri do it, man. They're, whew.
Yeah, I got definite like Cartagia vibes
Dude,
from
he
him.
blew up his own island. He blew up an own island on his own planet. Which that kind of an explosion to blow up the whole island, I don't know what kind of nuclear winter that's going to cause around the globe, but hopefully not. I did appreciate where he said, listen, I got all my people out last night, except for a few that were willing to stay to maintain the ruse.
That told me just how much power Londo actually has.
And he could execute that in one night.
In one night.
Yeah.
I loved that scene though too. Morden, I have a hard time believing that we're completely done with the shadows. Morden's reaction told me there's more to his relationship than just even Cyber Zombie or whatever. There's something like he was physically impacted when he blew that up, but just his Morden arrogance, right? We're not going to leave. Our ships are this. And Londo's like, okay, boom.
Well, I mean, what was Morden supposed to say? He had his two shadow guards right next to him. I mean, what would they have done to Morden if Morden was like, okay, we'll go talk.
Yeah.
Like he had to do something, and he played his card as best he could and was like, nope, we're not going anywhere. When those two guys got killed and he kind of goes wild Morden.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm gonna get you. I'm like, that seems unhinged. That does not seem like.
That's why I think there's something. There's more of something. Like he's some dependence, or we'll never know. We'll never know for sure unless there's some sort of a story. But
let me give you a possible theory.
Okay,
possible something later on in the episode when we get the astral projections of the Vorlon in the shadow.
I recognize that voice.
It was Morden doing the Shadow's voice, or Ed Wasser, or whatever his name is, the actor. He was doing the Shadow's voice. What if he actually is the Shadow?
Oh wow!
Like
he's the big harbinger, the eyes guy.
Yeah.
Just happened to be in that body.
Embodying his So, one more note about this: when the Minister of Intelligence revealed that it was Morden who was responsible for Lady Adira's death, I was not shocked at all. And I said I was going to go back and watch that part of the episode just to see, but I legit remember thinking when we found out that Lady Adira had died, I remember thinking it could have been Morden. There was something else that happened in that episode that it could have been Morden.
Well, we saw Morden paying the dock worker or whatever. They had the crystal meth that they were paying people with. And so you saw the bribe that went down. I think we knew at that point that Morden had done it, but he had propped Rifa up as being the patsy for it.
Is that what it was? Mm-hmm. Because I remember leaving and just saying, okay, well, so Rifa ordered the death, and fine, like that's what they told us, and I'll go with you. But to come back and rewrite that and say no, Morden, but to not be surprised, like it was Morden. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Morden.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure we landed on that even in that episode.
Yeah, but that's one of those like little details. Like as the next episode goes, and the next episode, you don't even think about it anymore. You know,
most people don't.
Yeah, you do.
I do all the time. But I loved that intelligence guy. I thought he was great. I loved how he just he's like, I'm just giving you the report. This is just the information. I can give you more. But it makes me wonder, what else does the intelligence group know? Because that's some pretty deep stuff.
They know a lot.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all to know that they know that Londo killed Cartagia.
Exactly.
Or whatever. And they're okay with it, probably. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what they do. And somebody's going to come kill Londo eventually, and somebody's going to, and they're fine. you know.
Speaking of Vir,
Yeah.
his hair is a lot bigger.
A lot bigger. Vir's crest has gotten super big.
He was awesome, though. He was so hard, right? In that moment when Londo's like, I got rid of the shadows. I got rid of them all. And then Vir's like, no, you didn't. And he's right in his face.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so
and he's
hard.
His old little new skinny fingers just dangling out there, you know, and he wasn't even straight. Like he had it kind of crooked a little bit, which just made it pop out even more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you and Londo, you know what though? When Londo sat back and went, you're right, Vir, you have to kill me and let them know. Yeah. In no way, shape, or form does that redeem Londo.
I was going to ask you that. Is that redemption for Londo?
No, it does not redeem him, but it is the right thing to do. Like Londo was right in the last episode. When I die, there will be a reckoning. That will have to come. He's going to have to account for this. But I think you can maybe minimize or mitigate the reckoning a little bit based on what you do now. But I don't think it goes to full on redemption. I got to be honest. I kind of hope that in the next, how many episodes we got left now?
16
plus 22. However many what is that? 38.
Yes.
That somewhere in the next 38 episodes that JMS does something that just totally brings Londo back. I kind of hope he does and proves me wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, we know that he's going to ask G'Kar to kill him, and he's going to let Sheridan go free in the War Without End future.
If that future is the one that comes true and stays true. Because you know what we didn't get in this episode? They're little friends. They're associates. They're people, like the people that didn't get wiped out.
We did, though. We did. Well, we got the opening for it.
Who?
Morden's getting drug out after they blasted his shadow guard and is getting drug out, and he says, even if the shadows are defeated, we have allies. We will come for you. That right there, as soon as he said that, I'm like, there's War Without End.
I missed that line.
He laid it all out, and which is one of those things too where, I just thought it was great. Like everything we're talking about, was laid up. This is everything paying off, and there's still planting seeds for the future that we think that we know we're going to see.
I am still on the train of that future that we saw is not the future that we're going to get. It's going to change. I think. I kind of hope it doesn't, but I kind of think it is.
We'll see. I did love to kind of close out the Londo conversation on this very end.
Yeah.
Vir's heading back to Babylon 5. Londo kind of feeling where he's at. They look at each other and they hug.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
Like that was a truly heartfelt moment.
It calls back. You had talked about that really great interview the Gray 17 podcast did with Peter Jurasik, and they talked about him and Katsulas and their relationship. And you were like, I want to know about him and Stephen first. Yeah. They spent so much time together, and it paid off in that moment. Like that was real. That was real.
I think they did talk about Stephen first a little bit, but still the vast majority of interviews I hear, it's always about Andreas and Peter. And
yeah.
I want to hear more about Peter and Stephen, honestly.
Yeah.
So the other part of the whole episode, right? Like that was the one part. The other part is the war.
Yeah.
Or was it really a war? Or
the battle? The battle. I don't know if this is what it is, but I'm going to call it the Battle of Coriana 6.
And that's a little more of a mouthful than Wolf 359, but hey.
A little bit. I loved, just to kind of kick things off, I loved Sheridan's leadership through so much of this episode, but immediately it was like we got that really cool scene where they blew up the listening post and they all popped into hyperspace, and we saw all of like the different League and race ships together, and he and Delenn are standing on the bridge of the White Star, and he says, you put together a hell of a team, Delenn. You should be proud of yourself. And the whole time I'm like, dude, you did it. You did it. But you know what he's doing? He's uplifting the people around him.
Leaders lift, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Leaders lift. Yep.
So good.
I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later, Jeff. I'm
Right.
gonna let you say that, and I'm gonna hold my comment on it. I will tell you this about Delenn, though. You brought her up. Delenn cussing will never not be funny.
I agree. It's so good. Haul ass.
Right. Okay, well, haul ass.
So his strategy, right, was to bring them into the Crucible.
Yep.
And they'd nuked a bunch, or put nukes on a bunch of asteroids around it, lure them in, start blasting the asteroids.
Do you remember where those nukes came from?
Yeah, that was from Jakar.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't catch that till my second watch through.
Do you know where that strategy came from?
No.
That's how he blew up the Black Star.
Oh, really?
He set up a distress signal. He mined an asteroid field.
Oh.
Brought it in. And so part of me was like, brilliant, right? Like, you know it worked. Also, you're doing it on a Minbari ship, which I don't know if it's a reconciliation or if it's a slap in the face. It's probably a reconciliation. But yeah, super effective strategy. There was in the battle, we got a cockpit scene, I think of a Starfury, kind of go around and pew, 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 pew.
I don't remember where the Starfuries were in this. Like, wait, when was the last time we actually saw a Starfury doing anything?
It's been a long time. It was when Garibaldi got hauled off at the end of season 3.
All right, fine. It wasn't that long ago, I guess, but still.
It feels like it.
It feels like it, yeah.
But I think there's a Starfury were in the cockpit or a fighter of some kind. Yeah. And all I thought, and please don't answer this question. Not yet. Wait till we get through this. But if that wasn't set up to roll out a video game, I don't know what was. Like that was literally just like, hey, here's gameplay footage.
Are you telling me that's not from Mass Effect? There's
really no ship to ship battles in Mass Effect. Not that you play. They play out cinematically, which is too bad.
Interesting.
So hot take.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you this before I give my hot take. What did you think of the battle, just overall? Like compared to other ones we've gotten.
I liked the part where the first ones came in. I really wish that we would have been able to see more of their ships, because the ships seemed very weirdly shaped. And we only got to see them like from one direction. I kind of want to see what the rest of the ship looked like, because they looked very I thought they came in and made the Vorlons and Shadows look silly.
Yeah.
When they came in. When they sliced through that one big like mother Vorlon ship, like it was hotcakes. And I mean, consider what the Vorlons and Shadows are doing to us, and they're doing that to the Vorlons and Shadows. And I thought it was really pretty, but I will say this for everything that they have. I want to give a quick shout out to, and I don't know if this is the right term, so forgive me, to the scenic artists who painted space.
Oh my gosh.
Who painted the backgrounds to this whole thing. It was gorgeous. The opening shot of the White Star flying in and a nebula hanging out. When the battle's happening, the red, I guess nebulas, whatever, the clouds around them, like it was gorgeous on multiple levels. I'm just like, this is so pretty, so well done on a production level.
Yeah,
would hold up in any sci-fi show today on TV, which is crazy to think about.
It is. It did. It looked so good, all of it. I was underwhelmed by the battle. I mean, I knew we weren't going to get a lot, I mean, just because it's expensive to put that on. But even the verbal back and forth, it was like, oh, they're battling, they're blowing up asteroids. Oh, they're backed against a corner and it's not working. So I guess we have to call in they called in the first ones, and they're going to call Vorlon reinforcements. Like it felt to me like it almost ended on a stalemate, to where the Shadows and Vorlons were like, well, we're not going to win this in space, so let's go talk to Sheridan and Delenn and then try and convince them. I don't know.
Well, but that was exactly Sheridan's plan, was to get involved and then force something. And I guess the Vorlons and the Shadows both had the same idea at the same time and said, let's both go take over Lita and she'll shoot one of each.
Yeah.
And they're going to go like, it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. Like I will 100% allow that for the sake of the story and just accept it and go with where JMS was taking us. I'm not criticizing it. He had 43 minutes to cram in so much. I'm going to be cool with it. It was a little weird though.
Yeah, it felt like I've done songwriting before where we're going to move from this section to this section and maybe the time changes or there's something and we can't come up with a smooth way to make it happen. So we're going to have a big hit, break for a bar, and boom, come in with the new section. Yeah. And at first it kind of like, well, that kind of felt a little weird that it changed. But then after you listen to it for a while, you're like, oh yeah, that totally works. And if you just step back 20 feet, okay, yeah, this works. But if you step forward that 20 feet, you're like, this doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
But it works. It gets us where we needed to go.
Yeah. And if I could criticize any effects, the electricity freezing effect on Sheridan and Delenn, I've seen better.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to criticize something, I don't want to just heap adulation on an episode that deserves all the adulation that it's getting. If that's really what I'm complaining about, Jeff, this is very small potatoes.
Yeah, because it was good. I love that they made them different colors, and so it was kind of clear who was where. But yeah, there was a lot there. You mentioned in the recap how Delenn, when she was talking to the Shadows, had the DVD cover coming to talk to her. That bothered me. It should have been Drawl. It should have been Shalmayan. And all these people that we know are so important to her coming and speaking to her. But instead, like, I kind of get Ivanova, that they bonded back in the second season. But Franklin? What's Franklin doing there?
Well, he hasn't been in the show so far, so we had to, give him something to do.
Although I appreciate it. I was glad to see him. I liked seeing him. I liked how he overacted the piece because it made sense.
I thought it was weird that he was in uniform.
Yeah, that too.
I thought it was very weird. Can we talk a little bit about what they were talking about and where they got to the whole piece?
Yeah.
I love the spot where they said, what if the right choice is not to choose at all? What if we reject the idea that we have to decide which one of you is right? What if we simply walk away? And they both bow up, and one says, no, there is only chaos and evolution. And the other one says, no, there is only order and obedience. They're both saying, do as you're told.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're both saying. Like, they're literally saying the same thing. You're going to fight because we tell you to fight. Jeff, a long time ago, I do not remember where, but I posited a theory. Now, this is a little bit different than what the theory actually was, but it turns out it actually is the exact same thing. I posited the theory that the Vorlons and the Shadows are two sides of the same coin. That they're actually kind of like, I was saying that they're literally the same race, and that's not the case, but they are sister races, I suppose. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they're cut from the same cloth. They have the same ideas, the same, they're the same, just they approach things too different, but it's like two sides of the same coin. And that absolutely, I think, came to fruition here, watching that.
Well, Sheridan said it. They are two sides of the three-edged sword. There's your way.
We're not going to be the third way anymore.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. We're changing it. I had two big thoughts on what you said. One, and they're both two of my favorite things. I was losing my mind through this whole section because first, last week, right here on this podcast, I said, hey, I'm going to sit in my leadership chair for a minute. I'm going to tell all you managers out there, it's not about being right. Stop trying to be right.
Yeah.
It's about, helping the people do the best and be the best they can. And then that's where Sheridan starts going. He's like, it's not about being right. And I'm like, oh my God, look at that. Another great Sheridan leadership moment. Also, a little crazy. I brought it up last week. Like, that's pretty wild. But the second thing, the answer to the question, the understanding, right? Or as Lorien said, Sheridan knows. We just hope he knows that he knows. Well, if he listened to the 1979 record Permanent Waves by Rush and the incredible track Free Will on there, he would know that even when you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. And in this case, it was the right choice. The answer to the Shadows and the Vorlons is Rush. I love this show.
I have to save the rest of my thoughts. Just so you know, like there's so much more I want to say, but I physically have to say it. I loved Lorien's parting words though. When everything came down, he looked at them and he said, and I love this. He goes, "This is yours now. And you have the same obligation that we did." Like he's like commissioning them, you know, as the old goes out and the new comes in. He's like, "Here it is. I'm handing it to you. Teach the younger races, and when the time comes, step aside and let them grow into their own destiny." Jeff, that's parenting. Yeah. Like with a kid, like teach them what they need to know, guide them. And when the time comes, you've got to step aside and just let them go. And he says this, I thought this was so interesting. "And if your races survive, if you don't kill yourselves," and he goes on. I just sat there and I thought, and you know what that means? Is we have the capacity to not survive. We have the capacity to really screw this up. Let's not screw it up.
I loved that Lorien wasn't a Deus Ex Machina.
Right.
The war is the battle is happening. The Shadows and the Vorlons pull Sheridan and Delenn in. The whole time Lorien's just like, gotta let it happen. You gotta, and then when their astral projections come on board, he just says to Sheridan, he's like, just know that the thing you say next will spell everything that happens. I'm not going to tell you what to say. I'm not going to coach you. I'm just literally telling you this is your moment. He was willing to let it all burn. Yeah. If that's what it was. If it's not time, it's not time. The next round will pick it up, right? Or the one after that. I loved that about Lorien, because it would have been really easy for him just to come in and been like, "We're done. You're gone." But no, he's going to let it roll. Yeah. He's going to let it. It causes me to ask this question, though. So great. We have the universe now, or the galaxy, or the whatever. We have inside the rim. What happens in a million years? Who's Lorien in the future?
Draw, because he absolutely did nothing.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing? There's this great machine and we're watching and we got to put the battery in, and Zathras is there and he appears to Sheridan at the beginning or somewhere towards the end of season 2, I think it was. And he's like, "I'm going to devote my resources of the planet to you to help things happen." And we ain't done nothing with it since.
Yeah.
The most we've heard about it is, hey, we're going to evacuate some people from Babylon 5 down to the planet because we're getting a little full up here.
Yeah, we have space.
That whole storyline to this point right here, which I thought it would have been a part of this big war, has been completely dropped and forgotten about.
So I have
now people out there are either going, "Just wait," or yeah, we kind of forgot about that one.
So I have a small list of things like that.
Okay.
So I kind of left these as like my big questions that are left hanging that I hope in the next 38 episodes they touch on. But there are a couple of these I was just like, but wasn't this a thing? So they made a big deal out of when Ivanova was in the Great Machine and she was going through and tracing to see where the first ones were. And then the Harbinger Shadows saw her and she's like, "He knows my name. He knows my name." Yeah. Fast forward to when they went to Zahadum to look for it, and Big Guy, "He knows our names. He knows our names." So what? Who is dude? That went away. Yeah. And there was all this. Why was it Delenn the Shadows talked to? And it seems like they've got a little touch point with Ivanova. Maybe it should have been Sheridan and Ivanova that were there.
Yeah.
What happened to all the Psychor people that were flying the shadow ships? Where are they? What else do I have here? Oh, Remember the Vindries?
My assumption is they're all dead.
Yeah.
Like by the time they got plugged into a shadow ship, they're not like, I don't know what the deal was with Morden, but when we saw Anna, that clearly was not Anna.
Right.
Right.
She was a zombie.
Yeah. Morden seems like a different animal altogether. That other old dude that was in that room with them, I don't even understand what that is. Was he the Lorien for the shadows or something like that? Like, I don't know.
These things that just kind of came up and went away or whatever. Do you remember the Vindrizi in Exogenesis?
I remember Exogenesis, but what did they do?
Well, they were the keepers of all the history.
Oh,
they
yeah.
had all this.
Yeah.
Where was all this? Where was all that? Which brings me to kind of my last big question on it. In the Shadow of Zahadum, we got kind of the breakdown that led to this, right? There were the ancient ones, and that's who I'm assuming was like Lorien and his crew. Then there's the first ones, and we saw 8 of those, the 6 that Lorien and Ivanova went and got, plus the Shadows, plus the Vorlons.
Yeah.
So 10,000 years ago, and then 1,000 years ago, the Shadows rose up, and all the first ones got together to push the Shadows down. But if that's what happened, why is it the Shadows and the Vorlons trying to convince the lesser races to either fight each other or... Like, those two stories don't reconcile for me. The story we were told, which admittedly was probably from Vorlons telling Minbari the story. But it was all about, we got to shut the Shadows down. They're bad. We're going to destroy. Remember, we've defeated them in the past. This time we have to destroy them. So it's like, maybe
But we didn't destroy them. We didn't destroy them. We just let them go.
We let them go off beyond the rim.
We're also assuming that they all went. What if there's a shadow ship buried on some planet over here that's going to emerge in a couple of years and be like, hey, it's just me? Awesome. Let's take over.
Right? I got this. There's no Vorlons left here? No one else?
Yeah.
It's mine.
I got to say, there was a part earlier in the episode when Lorien said to Ivanova, talking about the first ones, he's like, yeah, they've not spoken to anyone outside their own race for centuries. And I was like, only centuries? Feels like that should have been millennia.
Yeah.
Like if it's just been a couple 100 years, that's a really short amount of time, given the time span that we're talking for ancients and first ones and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I think that lines up. My last thought before we get into the real meat of this. I mean, we are way into this. This is just a huge episode with a lot. Yeah. But Lorien talked about like the physiological history of sentient life. Mm-hmm. Where he's like, we were created, the universe created us, and we were immortal. We could get hurt, we could get sick, we could die, but we didn't age out. And then the universe decided that in order for us to appreciate the finer things in life, we needed to shorten our lifespans. Mm-hmm. Shorten your lifespans? Wasn't Kosh like 1,000 years old? Didn't he fight in the other war? Like, and is that what's happening as the races get younger? Are the time frames compressing so that they can appreciate life that much more? Which I think is a great question to pose, as I think we've reached that point of the episode. We're going to boil this all down. There's a lot to boil here. We're going to talk about all the great messages in this episode and just how Babylon 5 they were delivered. Brent, I feel stupid even saying this at this point because holy crud, we have a lot to talk about, and frankly, that doesn't get any more Babylon 5 than Into the Fire. But Brent, you have the responsibility of rating this episode from 0 to 5 Delta Furies on the weight of these messages and how Babylon 5 they were delivered. I think we've got a lot to converse about as we dive into these. I've got notes on them, but Brent, why don't you lay it on me?
So for the first time in the history of this show, Jeff, I really hate the idea that we're doing anything Star Trek here, that we're using Delta Furies and not just calling these Star Furies. I'm not saying we're going to change just for this episode, because what this episode does is what I want and what I think all good sci-fi does, not Star Trek, sci-fi. That's holding up a mirror to society, giving you hope that you can be better in the future, showing us how we ought to be and how we ought to live, and showing that we can do it, that we as humanity have the capacity for greatness, to be better than we are right now. That's what good sci-fi does, in my opinion. We kind of side-eye it saying it's Star Trek throughout the course of the show, but that I really want to focus on. This isn't about the Star Trek thing. This really is about what sci-fi does. That being said, and there was more I could have taken, but I pulled 5 things, 5 from this episode that are not, hey, I'm trying to search for messages, and there was this one little thing over there that if I take it and I pull out this idea, I'm going to get this message. No. I think these are intentional messages that JMS and his philosophy of how things ought to be, how humanity should be, how humanity is right now, and he laid them up on a platter and said, this is it. This is what we're doing. I bought 5 things. There could have been more. Here are the 5. And these are some Star Trek ideas too. The first one is this. I'll put it in full Star Trek terms for you. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Replete. Lorien says about Sheridan's plan, he's making a crucible that will force out the truth. It's very brave, but very human. Humanity has the amazing capacity to sacrifice itself for others, for the truth. It is very brave, and it is a uniquely human aspect. Now, I'm saying this in the real world when we don't know about other aliens that are really out there, if they're really out there. But this is a capacity that we as humanity have to sacrifice ourselves for the greater good, for people that are other than ourselves. It was an amazing message, I thought, when he said this is what we're doing. It's very brave, but very human. Number 2, humanity is the hope for the galaxy, speaking to the potential that we have as humans. Star Trek Enterprise, I really think, pushed this idea more than any of the other Star Trek series out there, that it was humanity that was the catalyzing force for uniting the planets and bringing them together. Before humans went to the stars in Enterprise, the Andorians were out there, the Vulcans were out there, the Tellarites were out there. They all existed, and they were all at war with each other. It was the new guys on the block. It was the humans who were able to bridge the gaps and bring those 3 species together to form a federation of united planets that were at one point non-aligned. Literally what we saw happen in this episode. A human came in, and not a Minbari, not an Narn, not a Centauri, a human came in and united. And yes, he gave Delenn the credit. You mentioned this earlier, Jeff. He gave Delenn the credit, but he is the one who actually united them. It's almost as if saying that humanity is the hope of the galaxy. We are the hope for the future. Jeff, I believe this. This is core to who I am as a Trekkie. This is core to who I am as a sci-fi junkie. This is core to who I am now as a Babylon 5 lurker.
Yeah.
What are we calling ourselves? I don't know. I don't want to be a lurker. I don't want to be somebody who's down
the
below.
last ones.
The last one. There you go.
The next ones.
The next ones. Okay, there we go. I like it. But it is us. Think about that for a moment. It is humanity is the hope of the galaxy, that we can be the ones to. It just speaks to the incredible potential that we as humans have. It calls us to be better than we are even now. Here's the third one I got. Death is what gives life meaning. In Lorien's talk, it is in death that life was found to be valuable. You just referenced it, talking about the physiology of how this worked. When we first were in, we were immortal, and then they realized that nothing was really worth it. And Lorien, he talks this bitter, like, we learn not to love because it turns to ash because they'll go away. Right? Like, I was so sad for him in that moment. Like, this sucks. It is death. The idea that it is limited is what makes this so valuable right now. This literally, Jeff, is what Data taught us as an android in Star Trek. First in Star Trek The Next Generation, then through the movies, and then eventually in Star Trek Picard. This is an entirely Star Trek message. This is an entirely sci-fi message. How many times have we seen the idea of immortality sounding pretty cool, but not being cool at all? I think we also saw that in X-Men with Wolverine and Sabretooth and those guys, right?
And Highlander.
There you go. Right.
Good, yeah.
More sci-fi, right?
Weird
how that works. Number 4, conflict is not resolved through force, but through dialogue and understanding. Can't get much more Star Trek than that idea, right? You cannot win this one with force, Lorien said. You have to understand your way out of this. It's not fighting. It's through dialogue and discourse. It wasn't out there. In fact, Sheridan walked into the battle saying, we're going to lose this. If this is sheer strength, we're done. Our only hope is to get these people in a room and have that conversation and come to an understanding with them. The idea that they showed up to talk there at the end after they pulled the death cloud out was really phenomenal. The idea that we got Kosh back, Kosh Naranik, Kosh won because he's supposed to be dead. Whatever. The last one, number 5. And this one, I think, does the best job of holding up mirror to society right now. Here it is. Refuse to take part in the madness anymore. Now, I don't know that this was actually a specific Star Trek message, but I can totally see Picard doing this in an episode. I think I could even see Kirk doing this in an episode. I don't think I see Janeway. I can see Archer doing this in an episode. Pike doing this in an episode. Refuse to take sides anymore. And I'm going to speak directly to my fellow Americans out there. In the next year, as we record this, Jeff, we're going to be electing our next president. We're in that round, right? The current climate is highly charged. I could not watch this episode and hear what the Vorlons and the Shadows were doing and how they were, you must obey. You will fight because we tell you to fight. And he just sat there and said, what if we don't take sides anymore? There are powers that be that are not even remembering why they're fighting anymore. They're just fighting to get us to say, you were right. It is about them and not about what's best for us as a country. And when you turn us in on each other, by the way, I hope this rings out to our brothers and sisters across the pond over in England and over maybe even north of us in Canada, where I know things can get a bit touchy sometimes, in other countries that are facing the same thing. Refuse to take part in the madness anymore. You're not going to pit me against each other. I'm not taking sides on this one. I'm not going to capitulate to what you're saying. I'm not going to get in. As much as you can scream and yell and tell me that we're in the middle of a war for the soul of our country, I'm not going to participate in it anymore. Refuse to take part in the madness anymore. And guess what? If you do that, they have no more power. Again, I can't think of any specific instance where we saw this in Star Trek, but I think it's a phenomenal message that is solely and uniquely Babylon 5, Jeff. But I 100%, like I said, could see several of our Starfleet captains doing that. I gave you 5 messages, Star Trek quote unquote messages that I found in this episode. I don't know that I've ever seen them that clear or that replete or that chock full in any episode of Babylon 5 to date. And I don't know that we could have, because these messages weren't just in this episode. They have been seeded. They have been talked about. They have been watered, grown, sprouted, and come to fruition. And now is just the episode that we're harvesting them in. So I'm going to give this 1 Star Fury for each, or 1 Delta Fury, I'm sorry, for each of the things. This is a 5 Delta Fury episode through and through. And Jeff, you probably even have some more things that I missed.
Well, first on number 5, I was so with you because that was my Delta Fury message for the summoning. The other side of it, right, was just people, the masses just jump from one side to the other, just whoever's yelling the loudest, right? And fear of looking dumb or fear of missing out on something, they just jump. When finally Sheridan, through his understanding from that moment to now, he's just like, no more, not anymore. But as far as like the seeding of things, I think the one theme that you and I have spoken about more than any other theme throughout all of Babylon 5 is the concept of who we really are, our true self.
Right.
I use the term be, do, have, right, to talk about that. But Sheridan just laid it out in front of those astral projections. You ask, what do you want? You ask, who are you? Well, who are you and what do you want? And you can't even answer those questions anymore. The Vorlons in the shadows lost who they are. They lost their be. And that's what caused everything to fall apart when they stopped being who they were. So I loved that. I also loved the piece not only about humanity or mankind or whatever, that we're the term we're using, but for us, we'll say humanity is the galaxy's greatest hope. But where its greatest hope, because our ability, as Lorien said, our ability to believe that love is eternal is what becomes our greatest gift. Because we can believe that. He knows it's not necessarily true because he is eternal, right? And he's seen it fall apart, but we can believe. And we can act from that, and we can make amazing things happen. And that ties to my last big piece. We all need love.
Yeah.
All of us. Even the high and mighty shadows and Vorlons. Brent, when they knew they had lost, in that moment when they knew that the mankind, which is, God, I wish there was a better word. We'll call it all mankind or whatever. But when they knew that they were going to go off on their own, and Lorien kind of talked them down, a little bit. When he finally stepped in, Sheridan demonstrated understanding. Mm-hmm. And Lorien said, go be with those people that we miss and want to be with. Let's go beyond the rim and be with them. They both asked, are you coming with us? Will we be alone? My heart broke.
Yeah.
When I heard this, just like, oh my God, they just want their mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
Oh. And selfishly, over the last 3 years, I lost both of my parents. I just want my mommy and daddy, and I'm an old man. And that's all I want. And that just hit me so hard. And to think of the billions of lives that were lost, the trillions, if you look at it over time, because they wanted that love that existed. If we as humanity can believe that love is eternal, and then we can love, we can do that. Brent, oh my God. I'll give 5,000 Delta Furies to this one.
I'd give more if our scale went higher. It is jam-packed. There's so much in this episode that, Jeff, this episode could be talked about for hours upon hours upon hours. However, we will not talk about this episode for hours upon hours upon hours. It is now time, Jeff, to move this along. And you have a very difficult task. I had the easy one of doing the recap and pulling the messages out. They were so easy. You have the incredibly difficult task of ranking this episode and our 100% completely accurate definitive ranking of season 4 of Babylon 5. Jeff, our current top 5, this is the first time we're going to have something fall out of the top 5. Our current top 5 are in order: The Long Night, Whatever Happened to Mr. Garibaldi, The Summoning, The Hour of the Wolf, and Falling Towards apotheosis.
Apotheosis.
Yep, that's the word. Jeff. Apotheosis. Yep. Jeff, take your time. Think about it really carefully. Where are you going to rank this episode Into the Fire?
Let me think about this. Number one. Yeah, this is our number one. And if I was anything less, you should unsubscribe. You should block me on all the social media and never communicate with me again, unless it's asking or offering me professional help. Brent, this is I think this might be the greatest episode of Babylon 5.
Wow, you think so?
Maybe
It's
just possibly.
It really is. I mean, well, I said earlier, I don't know if we were recording or if this was in our preamble. This might be a top 3 episode of television, period. Yeah, it was my opening thoughts of the year. It might be one of my top 3 favorite episodes of television all out there. And I'm obviously a big fan of TV. I like a lot of TV. This is an episode that'll stick with you.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, this is so good. It gets better.
If you're going to show one episode so far of Babylon 5 to somebody who's never seen it before, just to show you how great the show can be, this might be the episode to do, even without having all the back. I wonder what it'd be just to jump into this without.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think about, what was it? Was it And Now for a Word, or one of them? I forget which one it was, but we were just like, this is a great episode to just show somebody.
And Now for a Word, certainly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the one we were talking about. There's been a few episodes that are like, this is just a good episode of TV to show someone.
Yeah, and could really hook somebody in and give them the pieces. I would be fascinated. Like, I almost wish we could turn back time, and before we watched The Gathering, we watched this episode and saw what it was. Because like my one complaint was that, Vir and Morden flashback. Without that, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be an interesting thought.
Jeff, I happen to know somebody that is a fellow podcaster who I know has never seen Babylon 5 and is completely unspoiled to it.
Huh.
Now, he's a little retired from the podcasting game right now, but I wonder if I could get him to do a special one-off episode.
That'd be pretty cool.
A buddy, Matt.
Yeah, as I say, also, I'd love to be on a show with Matt. That'd be great.
Matt's phenomenal. You would love Matt. You really would. He's a phenomenal dude. We should try to make that happen.
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be great. That'd be really cool. Well, you'll know here pretty soon if that happens.
Exclusive, or would we put it out for everybody?
I don't know.
You're gonna make people jealous. Depends on how good.
Well, Brent, that is it for Into the Fire. And to all of my music fans out there, I just want to say I hope you appreciate the self-restraint that I showed up to this point in not referencing Megadeth's Jump in the Fire this whole time. It was not easy to leave that out. But next week, Brent, we are watching Epiphanies for the first time. We play a game here on Babylon 5 for the first time where we don't look ahead. We don't look at thumbnails, at synopses, anything. We don't know what's coming up next other than the title alone. And then we like to guess what that episode's going to be about. So Brent, what do you think Epiphanies is going to be about?
Well, Jeff, I think what we have just seen is a 6-episode arc. And I think next week there's going to be a drastic shift in tone, in pacing, and in direction of the show. And so I think this next week is really going to serve to kind of set us off in the direction, as you mentioned the other day, of wrapping up all these dangling threads. So now that the whole shadow thing is sorted, I think we're going to get a lot of revelations or epiphanies about what's going on with EarthGov, how they were in bed with the shadows, and now that's not there. And the Psi-Corps situation, I think that's going to come to light out there, and it's going to start us down this road of not Babylon 5 and Earth reuniting. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think Babylon 5 is going to stay neutral, and they should stay neutral. But like the Babylon 5 personnel, Sheridan, Ivanova, Garibaldi, Zach, all those guys, they're going to kind of return to Earth's service. It's going to start us down that road of getting them back in Earth Force or whatever that new situation is going to look like. Because this is the fallout of this is going to blow up whatever's been going on Earth. Home Guard, Ministry of Peace, Psy-Corps, President Clark. Like it's going to blow all that up, and this is going to set us down that road to clean up all of that deal. What about you?
Yeah, I think we're going to slow down a little bit. Things are going to get smaller.
Yeah, and we should.
Yeah,
it should. Yeah.
Well, how does it get bigger than this?
Than saving the galaxy? I mean, What is the Star Trek Discovery?
Seriously. Yeah, who takes a whole season to do it? We're gonna make that shift in the middle of a season. Not even the middle, the first third of a season. We're gonna make that shift. But I think we're gonna get a lot of people reflecting on the new reality. I think we're gonna pick up on Jakar and the Narn situation. But I agree. My note here is also that the Earth is going to become a thing again. What I kind of thought was that we had the episode back in the Hour of the Wolf, where Ivanova was just like letting all of her voicemails pile up. And I think she's going to go back and she's going to start listening to some of them, and it's going to be like, Commander Ivanova, this is General so-and-so. I need you to call me back on Gold Channel. And, this is very important. We're withholding your paycheck pending this thing. But however it looks, we're gonna get pulled slowly back into the Earth stuff. And I think I said it last week, but I think that's kind of the next chapter in this. And I agree. This is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a battle or a war, but I think it's going to be much more political than anything else. But the delineation of Babylon 5, the demarcation of Babylon 5 from EarthGov in a more official manner, I think this episode's going to be the one to kind of launch that.
Fair enough.
And we're going to find out right here next week. Somehow, Brent, we did this in less than 90 minutes. I told my beautiful and amazing wife to expect me to be in here for a couple of days. And we had a lot to talk about. But thank you all so much for joining us. I can't express, one, how much it means to us to have you here, but also how just stinking excited Brent and I were to get in here and have this conversation about this episode.
Yeah.
There were questions about Jeff and Brent from the beginning about, will they stick around? Will they make this happen? Are they just going to tank this for Star Trek? Nope. Babylon 5. Through and through. Holy crud. This was amazing. Thank you for listening.
I am officially ready to say, Jeff, and I think I speak for you when I say this as well. I am a big fan of Babylon 5.
Huge
fan at this point of Babylon 5.
Love it. Hey, leave us a rating, leave us a review. We'll read it right here on the podcast. Share our show with people that will appreciate it. You can do it from the app you're watching or listening to us in. Just hit share, send it to somebody, and let's share some Babylon 5 love. Hey, until next time. Yeah, what's up?
So this actually was the season finale, right?
No, we have 16 more episodes to go.
Really?
Yeah. 16 more.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Wow. I'm almost afraid next week's going to be a letdown, to be honest.
I don't think it can be.
Really?
No, I don't think it can, because we have been here and we said next week has to be down here. So when it's down there, it's like, unless it's buried way deep in the ground and if this is Delivery from Avalon Part 2.
Yeah, we might have to retract.
That would be a letdown.
Might have to retract our statement on being huge fans if that's the case.
But if this is just,
oh my God, Brent, do you know what's going to happen?
What's that?
Oh my God. We're going to get the Jakar story. He's going to be on Narn trying to set his stuff up. You know who's going to be there to help him?
Londo?
King Arthur.
No.
That's where he went.
Nope.
He went to Narn.
Nope. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I reject that. I will no longer participate in that.
You went back in time and convinced JMS to back off from the Shadow Alliance thing. Hey, I got a week.
I'm not giving you my time machine.
Dang it. Dang it.
Club 65, what's going on, folks?
You're the best.
You guys are amazing. Jeff, I love that you're wearing the shirt there.
I felt like it's the last time I'm going to be able to.
Right?
I think I wore it one time before. Like I got this late in the 3rd season.
Right? You notice the shirt I'm wearing?
I do.
Shirt. You know it's starting soon?
It is, isn't it?
We started. Where are we? I don't know. I don't know where we are in that one.
I'm not sure because that one we're not doing as real time as this one.
Right.
But I'm watching Stargate.
Concurrent. Oh, we're doing 2 at one time.
Yeah, I don't know how we're making this happen. But we've been doing it, so it's
yeah.
good.
Well, our wives are amazing people.
They really
our children are. Our children are awesome too. So
a while ago, a long time ago, someone floated an idea that we both. And I'm still on the we're not going to do this train, but they're like, we should do reaction videos to these. Like we should go back to our old podcasts and do reaction videos to them. Not going to do it.
No, that I get the idea. Yeah. I understand that. Knowing the work that takes. No way. There might, it might be interesting to do that to a couple of select episodes.
Yeah.
Like
or pieces of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
But then imagine all that work to go in and find the pieces of the different episodes. Because Jeff, by the time we're done with this, there are 110 episodes plus a couple movies plus whatever else we're doing. Every episode, let's say it averages 90 minutes an episode. Like we're talking 300 plus hours of content.
That's a lot to pull out some pieces. Yeah. But what would be cool is to have the other podcast, which is just our wives. Not talking about Babylon 5, but talking about us talking about Babylon 5.
If he says Londo one more time, the redemption of Londo Malari. Oh my gosh. Would he just freaking get redeemed already?
Just do it. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Right.
I don't know why Jeff keeps talking about Jason Ironheart. Who is this guy? What is that? That'd be a fun one, I think. Although I don't think either of our wives would be interested in doing that, which frankly is part of what makes them amazing.
I'm texting Matt right now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm literally texting him right now to see if he'd be down. I don't know if he's gonna be down because when Matt and I ended Beam Me Up, Matt was like, I'm done with this type of podcasting. And he's got a business he's running and he's doing fantastic. And Matt and I've been working on a book and we've had some, our creative endeavors have just moved on for him and I together with what we're doing is in a partnership has moved on from podcasting. So I don't know. And he's got to be guarding his time. So I don't know that he's going to be down for it, but I'm at least going to ask and see.
Well, and here's an idea. I don't know. Sweeten the pot, maybe a little bit.
We'll pay him.
No. What if?
Yeah.
What if we all met up and did it in person?
That'd be cool.
I'd do it. I'd fly out.
Dude, you just want to come to Florida because we have Disney and stuff and it's warm.
Yeah. Well, we're all burned over here.
You're staring down the bullet of another winter up there. And I'm like in shorts and t-shirts right now with a nice tan going on.
I remember, I don't know, what was it like? It was just after the holidays last year or the early part of the year. And I was just like, dude, like it's pouring down rain. It's 38 degrees. And you're like, hey, look, I have my window open over here. Like, yeah, that's great.
I mean, we're going to go trick-or-treating here soon. And the kids are going to be sweating in their costumes because it's going to be hot.
And we're going to carry an umbrella with ours. Very different worlds we live in. But no, I agree. Matt's rocking and rolling. He's doing his stuff. But it would be, one, selfishly, want to hang out with dude. Two, what a cool experiment to have. Because also, Matt, if you listen to Beam Me Up, Matt's going to tell you how it is.
Yeah.
If he's going to come in and be like, oh my gosh, I'm in. I want to be a part of Babylon 5 now. Or he's going to be like, yeah, I don't get it.
This is an awful episode. Like, this is, and I think that will prove the idea of this episode is great because we've had the previous 3.5 episodes, but maybe not in and of itself. And Matt really was the one who taught me the lesson that when a fandom loves an episode, it's usually not actually good on a first time watch. We remember it after seeing the entire thing. And there's sort of a group think idea that goes on that just talks about how amazing this episode was. But when you're watching it the first time, you don't have the forward knowledge. You don't know what the character arcs are going to be. You don't know where people are going. You can't pick up on the foreshadowing. You're kind of like, meh, which is what happened to us in season 2, Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to say Geometry of Shadows stands right out to me, where we're both just like, I mean, techno mages are cool, but
what's the rest of this?
And even without going back and watching it, I literally just had this like, oh my God, because when Londo was walking away from Technomage, they showed those little demons crawling around on his back. And we know he's going to have a keeper on his neck that was like one of those little demons.
Well,
like,
I remember now what Technomage said to him. He's like, there's a darkness around you and you're going to be awful and you're going to be.
He told us about this episode. Like he told us about the build up to this episode in Geometry of Shadows. And you and I were like,
whatever.
Michael Ansara is super cool.
Because we were like, I want to see more Technomage magic. Like we were consumed with that in the moment.
Yeah.
Not the and I hear people, if I in my mind's eye, I'm listening to our listeners, they're going, but he told you what's gonna happen with Londo. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to see Technomage magic.
Yeah, he had orange juice. Like he had an orange thing. Where's
he going? Why they need to come back? What's going on? They're going beyond the rim. I'm like, okay, what the hell's the rim? I come back and do magic. I want to see it. It's cool.
Yeah.
And it's Elric. I mean, my gosh,
exactly.
Like,
so cool.
Michael and Sarah. Where do you rank? Okay, so we're this far in, Jeff, real quick. Where do you rank Michael and Sarah on the guest star rating? Like where about? Because we know like David Warner is still number one.
Big
like,
time.
I don't know that he's ever gonna get knocked off.
I gotta really think about that. Because like Walter Koenig has become closer, near and dear to my heart as we've seen more of him.
But see, I don't know that he counts on that because he is such a recurring, like him and Lita, like they're so recurring.
What about Drawl? Because Drawl has really become pretty younger. Drawl
he's how many episodes has he been in?
3, 4?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because he was in
Long Twilight Struggle, which is where we first met. Well, there was first Drawl from season 1.
Yeah.
And then there was Drawl in Long Twilight Struggle. Was he in War Without End? Did we even see him?
No, he got Zathras. But we got him in when Ivanova went to look for the first ones.
Oh, did
in the early season 3. Was that Voices of Authority? Okay. That might be it.
That's what I mean. So John Schuck, you know, the great Klingon ambassador, which people lost their minds when he first came on. I can't believe you didn't recognize the great Klingon ambassador. And I'm like, dude, I was trying to figure out what the voice was and who the character is at the moment. Like, I picked it up on the next watch. I promise you.
But, but right away,
you're doing that. Like, I recognize this guy. Who is he? Oh yeah, he's that guy.
I'm trying to think of other great guest stars that we've had. It's hard. Michael and
I mean, Socrates. We had Socrates.
Yeah.
We had Schultz.
Oh yeah.
Mike Schultz.
Who did a great job with what he was given.
In a bad episode.
Yeah. Still to this day, we're this far in. There were people that tried back then to be like, oh no, it doesn't pay off. You know how it pays off? We got to see how bad it looked like when they shot the shadow thing then. It looked a little bit better when they shot the shadow things in this episode.
Right.
That's what I got out of that one. But yeah, Michael Ansara's still got to be way up there.
I think he's got to be top 5. I mean, just that voice and how he held himself. I mean, he owned that Technomage spot, you know. I'm kind of looking through to see
who else.
Yeah. Wow, Jeff. So I'm looking right now at here. I'm gonna pull this up.
There's Michael York.
No. Here's the thing, if he actually was King Arthur, I'd be down. But he's not.
You know who was good? Oh my God, I can't remember his name, but he was the guy who replaced General Haig. Major, what's his face?
Yeah.
The guy who made the joke about, General Haig couldn't make it. He's on Deep Space Nine.
Right. He played Captain Braxton on Voyager.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about. So I'm just looking back at our rankings. Look, hey, look, Club 65. You know what you get to see?
Right. This is the behind the scenes.
Literally, do you know what we still have this thing named? The file unnamed Babylon 5 podcast from way back then, right? So I'm looking at this. I noticed we have Voice in the Wilderness ranked way down here, part 1, and the Voice in the Wilderness part 2 ranked way up here. I don't remember that. You still have TKO up here. Lots of people want to slap you over that one.
Bring it on. I'll take him in the Muay.
Deathwalker, the lady who played Deathwalker, phenomenal guest star.
Yeah,
phenomenal guest star. Oh, what about the dude who had the scar and was going mano a mano with Sharon or Sinclair?
Oh my God, Ben Zane.
He had the British accent too.
Ben Zane.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
One of Jeff's favorites. All right, let's
Ben Zane and Harriman Gray, Jeffrey Combs. Oh my gosh.
But he wasn't a great guest star, though.
He wasn't, but he's
because it's Jeffrey Combs.
It's noteworthy.
The character was
he is better than Ben Zane.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Long Dark Distant Shadows, Now for a Word. Do you remember the news lady who kept coming into CNC and Ivanova would be like having to kick her out all the time?
I hope you resist.
I miss that Ivanova. We haven't seen her in a long time, Like
because she's only thinking with her head and not with her heart.
Well, how did Rabbi Kozlov?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's a top fiver for me for sure. Zathras, the guy who plays Zathras.
He did such a great job.
Oh my gosh.
He just made that role so good.
You talk about a guy who elevated just because.
The Londo's wife in Soulmates.
Tamav.
Yep, Tamav.
Vomit
there you
spelled
go.
backwards.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, she was good. She elevated. Yeah, they've had a handful of amazing guest stars.
Yeah. Knives, dude who played
Carmen Agenciano.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So good. So good. I'm glad you brought that one up. Like Paul Winfield in Gropos.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was fine.
Yeah.
But he didn't like, he was fine with what he did, but he wasn't like, oh my God.
He was one, and there were a couple others too where I felt like they're like, yep, showed up on time, read the lines, got paid, didn't make it bad. Like I didn't tank it, but
didn't we hear that Paul Winfield, when he was doing Gropos, couldn't take the time to memorize the lines, had cue cards for him off stage?
Yeah. I think so. That sounds familiar.
Or right off camera. Yeah. Yeah. Acts of Sacrifice, Now for a Word, Divided Loyalties. Man, you know who I hate that we never got to see again? Bad Talia.
I know.
Bad Talia, man.
She was the best.
Oh my gosh. And what did she have? 2 minutes of screen time as Bad Talia.
But it was so hardcore.
She was so much better than every other Talia we got beforehand. Hey, remember the dude with the hat? He was the guy with Kosh and Talia.
Oh, I do. Yeah. He was the vicar.
The vicar. Yeah.
Abbott was his name.
He was.
That was terrible. That was awful.
I kind of want to see him again. Like it's so cartoonish. There's no way we should see him again, but I kind of want to see him again. Brother Theo.
Oh my gosh.
Get any more Brother Theo now that we're out of season 3? Is he done?
I hope not.
I like them on the station,
but I think they're gone. I think they're done. Although it'd be cool, like you called it. We want the new guy, the new Death of Personality guy to come back. Yeah, have Sheridan do a little comeuppance there.
He needs to. Zahad, yeah.
There was Robert Englund, right? And Gray 17 is missing.
You know what? That is a phenomenal pull. He was so good in that role.
Yep.
And that episode was way better than people give it credit for. It really was. Like, I understand the goofiness of it. I understand where you're coming at. That is such a small portion. Cannot let that ruin the rest of the episode and what it
right. It still pulls out like the big miss from last week's episode when when Erickson should have said, we live for the one, we die for the one.
Yeah. Jeff, why are we missing one? Oh, because we put War Without in part 1 and 2 together.
Yeah, we're not missing. I mean, I wouldn't say we're missing it.
Yeah, no, it's there. It's there. And then, and look at this. Like, Gray 17's number 12. Like, it's not even in the top half of the season for us.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I know.
It was such a good, like, season 3.
Season 3 was so good. Like, all of these episodes, even Walkabout, I would say was a good episode.
Yeah.
Just not this one down here.
Walkabout dropped to that level because of episodes after it, not because of its own merit.
That's fair. That is, you're absolutely right. It
just had its legs totally cut out from under it.
Yeah. And then here we are in season 4. I mean, Jeff, I would almost Into the Fire is it's such a cut above all these other
it's perfect. It is.
It really
perfect.
is. Even the little things you got to, we're going to nitpick about it or whatever. Like, none of that matters. What happens if I click this? Does this go away? No, it doesn't. Okay. I'm gonna go here. Anyway, hey, for all you guys who have continued, how late are we now? Hour and 35.
We're making up for the short Club 65 session last week. We're making up for today. It's cool hanging out with you all. Sorry we had to cut it short last week, but we had to go watch this episode.
Come on, Matt's here. I think we might have Matt. We might have this.
Oh my God. I can't wait. Yeah, we could just give him his Twitter handle and let Club 65 take over.
At Club 65, hit him up. Yeah. As a matter of Matt.
Did you really do?
Oh, do it. Oh, dude. Oh, Matt's awesome. No, actually, don't even do that one. Do at SCL Matt. And what Matt does, just so you guys know, I'll give him a free plug and shout out to my friend.
Oh,
Matt
yeah, he does some cool
runs a
stuff.
site called Skylanders Character List. Jeff, did you ever play Skylanders?
Never did, but we talked about it. You updated me on the whole thing, and
it's a cool game concept. It's toys to life type of a deal. And he basically runs a thing where people sell him their used Skylanders, and he turns around and resells them and helps people complete their collections. And he's just doing phenomenal with it and rocking it. He's got his own YouTube stuff going on with it now. And, I get to, I'm there's not like an advisory council, but like he runs his ideas off me all the time. Like, cause we're together and stuff. Like Matt and I are still good friends. So, it just, I love seeing him succeed. So if you're into Skylanders out there, or you want to get your kid, Jeff, your daughter would love Skylanders.
Yeah,
it's a super kid friendly, fun game. And you don't have to play any particular game in order or anything like that. But like the first game's only available on Wii or like Xbox 360, so you got to get one of the old consoles.
Mm-hmm.
The middle games I think are on like Wii U and PlayStations and the other newer Xboxes and stuff as they go up. I think only one was available on the Switch. So, you can get you go to Matt's website and get like a little starter pack, and that comes with a little portal, and then you get, several different figures and stuff. And it's a fun game. Like,
that's cool.
It can be a little mind numbing, I think, as an adult, because there's not much to it besides go around and just do your thing. But there are some neat challenges and stuff. It's a good game. It's well done.
That's cool.
Yeah. Good. I have bonded with my children playing Skylanders.
Really?
Yeah. Like, cool. I really have. It's been fun. And like the neighbor kids come over and they want to play Skylanders and stuff too.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. Like it's so for them. Anyway.
My daughter and I played a lot of the Lego Star Wars games. It's funny because she refuses to watch the films. She'll watch some of the cartoons. She liked Rebels. She burned out on Resistance, which just made me respect her that much more. But she knows all the movie stories because we played the Lego Star Wars games. That's fun to do puzzles with your kid. I like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting to see if Matt responds. All right, no, we should get out of here. Club 65. You guys have been on. This is
leave Club 65 hanging.
Yeah, listen. We shorted Club 65 last week. Well, we made up for it this week.
You got a lot of good stuff. This was a good conversation.
You guys are awesome. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support that you give the show and watching all the way through. Drop a 65 down in the comments so we know you guys were here. And we'll talk to you guys later. You know what a trivia question is going to be one day, Jeff? Where did Club 65 come from?
I remember where it came from.
Where did the 65 come from? Don't say it. I'm going to end right now.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. Just don't tell anyone anything, except